So ji chudon so ji chano la shanje pada dana Gyaltsen Dake chishe jibe dono ji rola penche sanje rebe sho sanje chudon so ji chano la shanje pada dana Gyaltsen dake chishe jibe dono Lola penchara sanje rebe sho sanje chedan doji jano la shanje pada dana Gyaltsen Dake chishe jebe tonam je lola penchara sanje rebe. Okay. Do you have any questions? Any questions for 1 week?
Questions from last week, Geshe?
Yeah, any questions? Last week, this week, next week.
Yeah.
Whatever questions fine. If I know the answer, I can answer. If I don't know, then I say, sorry. It's not means I say, if you have question, means it's not means I say, I know the answer.
I have a question.
Yep.
Last week when we were talking about the meditative equipoise, the exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise, of the Mahayana path of seeing that is neither the uninterrupted path and neither the path of release. And we had a lot of discussion about that, but Bob had made a comment about how the subsequent attainment doesn't necessarily follow directly after the path of release. So is it possible that you could, so say you're in the uninterrupted path, and then you then the path of release. So the afflicted obscurations there removed. But let's say you stay in meditative equipoise after you've been free of the afflictions. Would that be an example of the exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise that is neither? Since you've already you're free of the, like, could there be a period in between, say, the path of release and subsequent attainment that could be a meditative equipoise that is neither the uninterrupted path or the path of release? Does that make sense? The definition says it needs to be, it says subsequent again.
나 발전멜람제라든 남돌람제라 남돌람제라 내가 제토를 야는 거라 나 뭐라서는 남돌람 제토 남돌람 톱 차네 아니 남돌람 톱 차와체 단냐 뭐거긴요 가서 뭐거긴 연립다가 시대 가서 벤지 거래는 빵차라더라 이 뭐거기 디바데 빵체 아니 다그 빵 차네 때네 그 단냠살라 말랑와체 냠살라 말랑어제 냠살 데데 갑게다 냠샤이 지죠라
알아
냠샤이 지디 아니 버제멜람다 남로 가로 많이 받나 버제멜 냠샤이 샤는 디그리 베스 거다
마마 텐 남달라 차다 남달라 차다 세 말아 받아 버제 말아네 다 월마산이 깨다셔 배나 사 도모라 샤바이나 사도몬 조노 친조치 보이시 직 사도몬 돌아 버제 말하고 있니 돌아 남달라 냠바 차다 찔찔 그렇고 냠바 차다 찔려야 제가 된데가 냠자바데 아니 돌아온 넘버라 차 타봤지 된데 거기까지 내가 빠 타봤지 제가 차면나 넘버라 차들 그 걔가 말해 넘버라 나래
알아 냠자 라면나
안 냠자바리 그 니시 주전이 스탑이 되나 그 넘버라 차들
So when the practitioner is on the path of release, right? So he let's say he has abandoned the accord delusion of an accord delusion, and so at that, and then he's still in meditative equipoise, So that means he's still in the path of release. So as long as he's in that meditative equipoise, during the path of release, he's still in path of release. So even after having abandoned that, the delusion of that context, even after having abandoned that, even if he stays like 24 hours in meditative equipoise, there's still path of release.
So he can be fully liberated, but if he stays in that meditative equipoise, he's still in the path of release.
Yes.
And subsequent attainment would just come after that. There's nothing.
So when he comes out of the meditation.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, ko nyamar pena dawachi lo momode na ko namdala chade ma ko teni ko mam chang mares.
So even for 24 hours or many months or many years, still in path of release.
Okay.
Karesana
If he has not come out of the not come out of that meditative equipoise, then he's still in path of release.
Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, that te chance tobachi cheo marta. Tele chene tobachi cheo marta. Te tares.
So that's exactly how that is, So that you don't have to have any doubt about that.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, that's good. Any other questions? Yeah, that terminal that Kazan Chanazo Pena Sat Tamboni Sacho Bangato Chishem, but Tande Pen Toy and Menaco, Tangaraso Colojo is any take a dash the match lapis, Chan to dash it also. Satomola Satomoradica, like you just a career set to Trent Honsoki.
And so now, if you don't have any questions, then we'll go through the text. So it's just like we talked about last time. There's 10 grounds, right? The 10 bhumis or 10 grounds, and starting with the very joyous ground, the first one, and then so we're going to have the etymology, of that. So do you guys find the etymology of the 10 grounds?
You got that, Jennifer? You got it?
Well, it was confusing because different sources have different terms. Some use the same term for different levels. And lots of definition, I didn't understand what the different definitions meant on sometimes. I find it difficult.
Yeah. Ko dashetam. Karchen la varesana. Ko dashetam machita teni jatan ramana mamboyoro was.
So etymology is not a definition, right? Etymology is just saying, oh, why is this called so and so? Or it is called so and so because it has so and so something like that. So that's just the etymology. So etymology doesn't have to meet with the definition.
Well, still, they were different. I mean, sorry.
Yes. 제가 전이 세대 빠져빠다 전에 그랬어. 빠져빠다. 그러나 다 빠져빠다 다 드링에 컴포트 맞죠. 빠져빠다는 뱀 고녀서 쇼여데 다산이가도 강가 람나 말로 하고면 뱀 고녀서 쇼여서. 로탄다 지가 먹거나 뱀 고비요 로스.
So the definition of the first ground, second ground comes with the abandonment and achievement. So when you achieve this and when you have abandoned this, then you have achieved this kind of ground. Or then when you go up there, and then you go to the.
Ted, now, okay?
What do you want?
Other Harvard.
Hi, hey, how are you, Geshe?
Yes.
Yeah, what I did is I just found the list in one of our texts, and I just memorized, what's associated, like very joyful is generosity, and then after that is stainless ethics. I'm interested as to why, why is there a reason? Is there a progression as to, why does generosity's first, and then it's, so it's generosity, very joyful, generosity, stainless ethics, luminous patience. You know what I mean?
So like we talked about the 10 grounds applying to the 10 perfections, right? So when we talk about the 10 perfections, so then the 6 are the 6 perfection, and then there adds the 4 more perfections, like the method, power, prayer, and and exalted wisdom. So when you add that, then it becomes 10. So it starts with that, So that's why the first ground is associated with the practice of generosity.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. 다 당에도 다시 들어간다. 사 담보네 사치보다 아니 다시 들어간다. 다시.
So now we're going to talk about the etymology, okay?
아니 사 담보는 이요 와서 제가 그래서
So the first ground has two, right?
사 담보 돌아다 사 담보 고난이자 사 담보라고 그랬어.
So there's the first ground of the path of seeing and first ground, of the path of meditation. So both are first ground.
이번에 단내나 사 담보라도 가와서 바지 고난고 고지 되거든. 돌아다 바지 되게 말해.
So the very joyous, so the first ground is called very joyous. So that one is mostly referring to the first ground of path of meditation. And I don't think it refers to the path of seeing at all.
아데 샤다데 베나 아니 덴즈 샤다데 아니 덴즈 렌체 빠다가 전에 다사 고난에 사치오 바테 되게 고난 덴즈 렌체 사티.
And then when you're talking about, because in the path of seeing, you abandon the intellectual grasping at true existence, right? And then from then after that comes the antidote to the innate grasping at true existence. So the innate grasping at true existence comes from the path of meditation.
다데 에너지한테 라바달라 아니 덴즈 렌체 첨부 중 딩섬 체주 섬샤 그래서 담보 체주 섬. 근데 찌라 섬섬지는 그 자루도 왔어.
So then, so now the innate, grasping at true existence, there are different levels, right? So small, middling, and great. And then the small has also three levels, like the small, middling, and small, great. And the same with the middling and then the great. So that makes 9. So the 9 level of innate grasping at true existence.
아니 디나가 담보 안에 덴즈 앞에 전부 사들아 이식을 했어.
And so when we talk about the grasping at the true existence, right? So grasping at true existence, so it comes to the great, to small, right? The great is more gross, small is more subtle, and so in this case, the gross,
gross.
the gross. Gross, is the one that is more easier to abandon. The subtle is more harder to abandon, right? So when you abandon the innate grasping at true existence, you first abandon the great, grasping at true existence, which is like gross.
다 텔니 샤워르스, gross 텔니 샤워르스.
And then the gross, the great, grasping at the true existence has 2.
제장아 아니 다 주샤송 왔어.
And so with that, the gross, the great has 2, right? And then so with that, then when you divide all others, this middling and small, with the 3 in each, then it becomes 10.
Okay. 다대가 고남라 샤워르스.
So these are all on path of meditation, okay?
아니 돌아가 빠져도 된 그다로 대주도신을 거기 되니tere 담아샤스.
So then in the path of seeing, the abandonment is the intellectual grasping at the true existence, right? So we have nothing to do with the innate here, innate in the path of seeing. The path of seeing only abandons the intellectual, or what do you call that, acquired?
Yes, acquired.
Acquired or intellectual, right? So,
Exactly.
so that's what's abandoned in the path of seeing. And the innate, is abandoned only in the path of meditation.
제가 단 늦어버나 강다 지냐바샤 야투세 냐바샤 투세 드레지네 지지나별 로카제 지지나 냐바샤다 지가 빠르고 그래서 곧 셋나 타리 모시마 지지나 곧 간제 곧 도바 도보도 그 두치 빠르고 동바지라 냐바샤 가디 빠서나야 신반 좀도 그래 신반 좀도 그러와
냠샤라라.
냠샤라네 냠샤 장고라 좀 다데
then 제토는 마찬가지에.
말 세바드 봐 자토도 저거로 이나 람 파초원 처음에 냠자 장고로.
Oh yeah. And so now when they move from the path to path, like in the first path, first ground, you abandon something, and then after that you move up, to the second ground. And so when you move from first ground to the second ground, you move, while you are in meditative equipoise. So they call it, you move from a meditative equipoise to meditative equipoise, which means, you are still in same meditative equipoise, in a same session on meditation, meditative equipoise, and you enter into the into meditative equipoise while you're on the path of, while you're on the first ground, and then you abandon the delusion, and then you wake up in the second ground.
Okay, 다 되지. 다 들은 것도 사치가 아니 다시도 시행했어요. 다시.
And so so we're going to talk about the etymology. Okay, so why it's called so and so.
제다다 사동부기 아니 사동보라 다 랍드가원아 그랬어.
So the first ground is called the very joyous ground, right? Very joyous.
다 가지는 아니 조비 사절에 녀와래 다 녀월랩살이었어. 다는 지가 샘쟁에 된트발라 빼면도 다 가워시까지 뚫어지는 쟁이지. 딱 시다 팅하라요다 다 티가도 미세게지. 샘쟁에 된트발라 가전데 뚫어지는 쟁이게 되게 가와치 보여다 안에 랍드 가와스.
And so of course, when you are in the path of, in the first ground, you're already very close to the Buddhahood, right? You're very close to Buddhahood, and your intention or your wish, to work for the benefit of sentient being is even greater, and so you feel so much joy, so much joy to work for the benefit of sentient being. Therefore, the first ground is called the joyful, very joyful.
대인배가 디제데 안에 도대 잔다 안에 오마르 친트베니가 나송을 했어.
And then so that one is a Sutra Alamkara, or the ornament of the sutra, and so in the precious garland, the precious garland, of the middle way. So did you see that? Did you refer to those texts?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, you did? Okay.
Yes.
It's in this text too, but
that's good. 사람 제보도 배 안에 가려 봐주면서 다 오래도 람도야스.
So in the same text by Chokyi Gyaltsen?
this one we're using, yes.
Yeah. Where does it say?
On page 34.
On 34.
Yeah.
그 대시도 제일 여기서 왜?
난 파지 남주도 요 말이야. 남주대 사람 치아만 중앙에 요 말이야. Good. You guys already found.
I used Madhyamakavattara.
제대로 나도 되면 단대 콘 레시카로 다들 미담이 하거나 또 다선 팽거로 오면서 또 때스칼레 카워 치라 펜 맞아 오르서 있나 다 미가지나 버서.
알아, 디 제라 라고서 디나로. 어저디 단다 가서 디나로. 지중기 있잖아요. 제라 숨는 가래는데 그 도바지.
남주도 요 말이야. 내 사람 좋은데 빠지 요 말이야.
So usually on the paths and grounds in the text, in the by Chokyi Gyaltsen, the one that we study at the monastery, don't have that. So there's called the great path and ground. So there's a scripture called the text called Great Path and Ground, and in that it explains in more detail. So maybe they must have extracted from there.
This is.
Yes, Deborah.
You have to unmute, Deborah.
Okay, yeah. This is called Necklace of Learned Explanations.
Yes.
So maybe it's different?
It sources the ornament of Mahayana Sutras, though. That's its source for the
Yeah, it says Mahayana Sutra, yeah.
Good, anyway, it's okay. If they have this, good. 남주 나도 벤나 자사에는데 코카카이 사람 첨보대 벤나 나다 무도지 cấp 그러고 cấp 선배 나도 도와지래다 때문이요 말이야.
So anyway, I mean there's a different separate text, called it's called a great the path and ground text. It's a great path and ground. So this is called just general path and ground, and then there's a great path and ground. So that's from the ornament of clear realization. I think it's from the third chapter of the ornament of clear realization. That's where it explains in detail about the paths and grounds.
Oh yeah, that is that is naman kawan ni rido. Chana to yona rido chana to ma tesho ngani to ma sari miri tag is.
Yeah.
Okay, ane sa tombola. Ta sa ni bala tama me bala ba resro wa.
And then so the etymology of the second, right? The second ground, yeah, is called stainless, right?
Ta de ga ni ka teme ane teme yiji ji ane tama da trawa inza. Ane da tama me bas. Ta kanje teme ji sala chabi chapa. Lamla chabi chapa da trawa inza ane tama me bas tene ba ila ko zero pashi.
So it's like saying that from the free from the stain, it's called stainless, right? Free from the stain, of the Hinayana path. So the Hinayana path is like the stain, and so it's free from that, and it's called the stainless. So it's not attached, to the the Hinayana path, not striving or not attached, to this Hinayana path. So it's called
Is it like that? What they say?
It says that it gives two, free from the stains of faulty ethics, and also free from the effort of the Hinayana.
The Hinayana to mind, yeah. So that's what it means. Like Geshe was referring to that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Another day, so student, 수설기 tema.
수자지 토마다 테메.
수설기 tema다. then temengi. That's a lot. Temen lamlo shoygi lot yara.
Yeah.
Temen lamlo shoygi loti. Di temada tawa inda then tema mebas.
Oh, the tadrash. That you know that tar ko te bar poesa te ko dena. And teme je san do de je omar chi te ni ga long was.
And then also it also quoted from the Mahayana Sutra, right? Ornament for the Mahayana Sutra.
제가 다 요다 차시 될 저도 도바잖아. 대체제 남라더니 테메글람다 빠자레살라다. yes.
And so now here, according to the Mahayana path, the Hinayana path is to be abandoned, right? Hinayana path is abandonment. So is Hinayana path and abandonment?
제나다 니테다 카레.
So Hinayana path is not abandonment, right? But it is abandonment, and according to the Mahayana path, right?
When you say an abandonment, you mean like one of the
Something to be abandoned.
integrations to be abandoned.
Yeah, something to be abandoned.
Yeah.
And it's called abandonment.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to abandon that. So if you are striving on a Hinayana path, then you will not be able to go into a Mahayana path. So in order to go into a Mahayana path, you have to abandon the Hinayana path, right? So Hinayana path is abandonment.
네 저도 따세다가 저 단다디 하고 고송 왔어.
So you understand the meaning now, right? This one here.
제가 안에 된데가 안에 테메가 람 도디니가 로테 빠자레베스.
So the mind, that strives, for the Hinayana path is abandonment.
임바타.
Is it abandonment?
Yes, no.
It's trying to abandon. It's not necessarily abandonment. Have succeeded, but it's trying to.
It's something to abandon.
Something to be abandoned, right?
Right.
So therefore it is abandonment.
For it to be stainless, you have to give up.
제가 다 사제 토발라 빠자에 고래 고 말해.
So that which has to be abandoned to achieve state of Buddhahood is abandonment or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
No, I think Geshe is going to give a reason. It's not true.
No, what give me just you can just.
Could you pose the question again? Could you pose the question one more time? I'm sorry.
If you have to abandon something to achieve state of full enlightenment, is it abandonment?
Yes.
Yes, what?
I say no. I say no.
How come? Why do you say no?
Because I think the way I've seen that this works is that one thing, if you say no,
okay.
then it's like, is it just abandonment? It's more than just abandonment. That's like, you know, it's too complicated to say that all this complicated thing is abandonment. The way that sentence, the way that question is structured. No.
Harvard.
So this is the question, question now for Harvard. Okay, follow-up question for Harvard.
Thank you.
Howard.
I'll try.
Okay. So if it is not abandonment, so that which has to be abandoned in order to achieve enlightenment is not abandonment, then what is regarded as abandonment?
You mean, what is the definition of abandonment?
No, you said, so we're saying that something, that has to be abandoned, something that has to be abandoned in order to achieve enlightenment. If that is not abandonment, then what is regarded as abandonment?
Okay, think about that.
So something
I
that
will think about
obstructs you
it.
from achieving enlightenment, something that obstructs you from achieving enlightenment, isn't that abandonment? Isn't that to be abandoned?
Yes. Yes. The way you said, the way you asked the question, yes. Something that obstructs you from enlightenment is to be abandoned. That I say yes. But the earlier question is this something abandonment? Then I say no. You slightly changed the question.
대나 사토모 산이바르와 산이바베 지제 안에 테메가 남 되는 이거 로데 사제 토발라 빠자 말왜
바르주번 말해서라.
바르주번 말왜
So the wish to achieve, the wish, the mind wishing to take the Hinayana path, right? Mind wishing to take Hinayana path within the continuum of Bodhisattva on the second bhumi. Isn't that something that obstructs you from achieving state of full enlightenment?
Yes, within the context of a bodhisattva, yes. Absolutely, yes. I understand that.
So if it is abandonment, for the bodhisattva, doesn't it has to be abandonment?
Yes.
English.
Yes.
다들 제가 다 당기 차서 당기 차서 산지 토발라 빠자나 빠자 고도.
So because it is something to be abandoned in order to achieve enlightenment, therefore it has to be abandonment, right?
Okay, I get what you're saying. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You can't say that.
다 재난이 전화도 제라와.
You have to stick with your point.
Well, I mean, if I stick with my point, I mean, it was the way, I mean, if I could stick with my original point because I was just doing all this complicated set of ideas is not abandonment. The definition of abandonment means to walk away from something, to leave something. So whatever scenario does not equal to leave something. But if you define it, I was just looking at just the words, but the meaning generality of what we're talking about here with, stainless ethics within the context of a bodhisattva, that, okay, Hinayana is you're just seeking enlightenment for yourself and not for the rest of all other living things, then yes, that has to be abandoned within the context of being on the bodhisattva path. Then I understand that, and I would say yes.
Okay, hope
that's good.
So the Hinayana path is abandonment now, right?
I changed my mind.
No, if you say the Hinayana is abandonment, then I'm going to say no. The way you structured the question, I feel like this is very legalistic.
It is abandonment,
language.
Right? But it has to be abandoned to achieve enlightenment.
Now you're qualifying your question. You're changing the question.
So no, same thing. Like Geshe said, same thing. So is it abandonment or not? right? And then you say no. And then Geshe said, yes, it is abandonment because it has to be abandoned to achieve Buddhahood. And then you said yes. So then you said, then Geshe said, yeah, so if it has to be abandoned to achieve Buddhahood, is it abandonment? Then you said yes. So in that case, is Hinayana path abandonment because it has to be abandoned in order to achieve Buddhahood. Make sense?
Okay, this is a little complicated, confused, okay?
Oh no, I have a follow-up question, okay? Please correct me on this. I mean, I'll show my ignorance on this. If I'm wrong, please correct me. I mean, I really want to learn. So Hinayana, my understanding of Hinayana is you're seeking enlightenment if you're on the Hinayana path just for one's own enlightenment. Only for one's own enlightenment.
Yes.
If you're on the Hinayana path. It's
Yes.
the middle, of the three scopes, it's the middle one.
Yeah.
You're
Yes.
you're only concerned, hey, I'm not drowning. I mean, my mother and the chicken, they're drowning, but I'm okay. This is cool.
Yeah.
But the other ones, that's the great scope, the bodhisattva is, it's not just good enough that I'm not drowning. I got to save my mother and the chicken. I got to go and help them out.
Yeah. Yeah,
No, so it's not that bad. Hinayana is not that bad, I mean, Hinayana, yes, mainly is concerned about oneself, right? But doesn't think about others,
Not
So
of necessity, right?
The problem with the Hinayana, is that Hinayana don't even know that chicken has been his mother. The chicken, if he knew that chicken has been his mother, then maybe he will think a little bit, but he doesn't even know that. He has never meditated on the chicken being his mother.
Oh, so they don't see any connection.
So no, they don't. Yeah, I mean, they see some connection, but not deep as like being a mother.
Yeah. Oh, I did not know that. I thought they
so
saw
it's not
that.
like, oh, that's my mother, but I don't care about that. It's not like that, The Hinayana is not that bad. Of course, there are so many Hinayanas, so doing so many good things, like benefiting a lot, but not as, like taking the full responsibility to liberate every sentient being. That kind of responsibility they don't take, but they do have, loving kindness, compassion, immeasurable compassion for others.
Okay,
Interesting. Thank you.
So anyway, I mean, so here you have to say, so even if it is abandonment for the Mahayana path, then it's not necessary to be abandonment. Is that what you were going to say, Bob?
I was going to say you have to abandon striving for individual liberation or your own nirvana, but you don't abandon all the steps, all the abandonments that you would do on the Hinayana path. You still keep all those you still abandon all those things. The only thing you actually have to give up for the Mahayana path is give up striving for your own liberation.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Mhm.
Okay, that is
So therefore, it's abandonment according to the Mahayana path, but it's not abandonment.
Oh, I have a question on that.
Yeah.
I thought that you can seek it. I forget the way this was, the names for this, but there was the three different types of being a bodhisattva practitioner. Is one where there's specific names and I forget that, and I apologize for that. But one is where you seek liberation for the others before yourself. And then you're there's a name, and then there's one where you're doing it where you seek liberation for yourself and the others at the same time.
Yeah.
And then there's one where you seek liberation for yourself first so you can pull the other ones in.
Yeah.
There's a name for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you don't have to of necessity give up seeking enlightenment just for for yourself. Is that correct?
그래서
나 상계도 소소된다 짜니 말아야 되죠.
사제 소속된 말 사제 소속체 말 사제의 semje 쟁게 돌아 편제 사제 들어서 쓰도 보는 말 돌아 편제 소 가로 돌아 편제 사제 들어냐 소소 하도 용거 말 라도 따로 다 돌아 편에 semje zem발 편제 가 사제 고로 도스
No. So you have to understand that, so that the way you said, like we talk about like the bodhisattva like a shepherd or bodhisattva like a king,
That's it.
bodhisattva like a captain. So those are just from the way you generate the mind. So you generate the mind, and you generate the mind or the wish to achieve. The generate the mind means the mind that wishes to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. So that mind. So when you generate that, so you generate that, it's I have to become Buddha first so that I can lead them, And I can't bear to like become myself Buddha first. I have to take all them, all of them, lead them, send them all first, to the Buddhahood. Then I myself will think about myself, like that. Then the other one says, oh no, I want to take all of, all the beings together with me. So that's together. But anyway, there's nothing to do with that,
Oh, okay.
So when you say I'm achieving enlightenment, it's only for the benefit of others. So achieving enlightenment is only for the benefit of others. There's no achieving enlightenment for yourself. Achieving enlightenment is only for others. So when it says, for the sake of all, may I become Buddha, that's what we say, bodhicitta is. For the sake of all sentient beings, may I become Buddha. That's how you say it. So you never say, for the sake of myself, may I become Buddha. You never say
But
that.
when you said, but it was my understanding if you say all, you're included within that because you're one of that all. Or is it all except for me? You know my question?
Yeah. Of course, that's so.
야 소소 젠달라 남나 코스티 틀고 코스 틀고
그래, 다 코로나스나다 셴 탐제 나라 모두 셴 탐제 라비오라기 셴 탐제 라도네 셈제 탐제 라도네 소소라 셈제 탐제 라비오라기 셴 탐제 셴
소소 티브 틀고 그러면서 뭐 소소 미세 파피니 체크해 말아왔어
말다 셴 셈제 탐제 라비 셴 셈제 탐제 라바나 소소 두고 말아되나
제가 셴 셈제 탐제란다 간지 소소 티브 틀어 간지 셈제 탐제도 틀어 그 젠바사 티드마나 간지 셈제 탐제란다 또 틀어다
셈제 탐제 란도 추더다 셴 람나야 소소 되는 두 말아
다 간지 셴 셈제
셴 상마
다 셴 셈제 탐제가 지나 산제 돈부 주변에 간지 다 소소 티브라 냠냠도 틀어다 간지 다 라고 말까지
So when you, of course, I mean, like, when you say for the sake of other sentient beings, when you say for the sake of other sentient beings, others means not yourself, right?
Right.
Okay. But like when you say for all sentient beings, for the sake of all mother sentient beings, then when you say all sentient beings, then you're included, yourself there. When you say for the sake of all other sentient beings, then you're not caring about yourself. But of course. When you achieve enlightenment for the sake of others, you have also fulfilled your own purpose. You have fulfilled your sake also. You have done things for your sake also.
Okay.
Thank
you.
사선발라 그 쉐바지 달라 칼라나 안에 소소가 안에 솔라야 맞다바나 룽구 추파 소바시 안에 젤라야 룽구 추트리 룽구 추가 나와 첨부 제바나 그 쉐발라 버레스.
So then it says that here, right? So there is a reason for calling the third ground radiant, right? Because from the third ground, one makes effort to seek doctrinal scripture, even without looking after one's body and life. And other trainees are gratified by the appearance of doctrine. So with the radiation of the doctrine. So that's why it's called the radiant.
저도 단도서 코다시나 텐테 다 사셔발라 건 초발라 버레스 건 초발라 간에 간제 자가 뭐가지 아니 드바데 세바지 이시지 다 오고데 메타르 초바 간제 이시지 메 슈쳐보여 와도 건 초발라 버레스 그러고
And then then the next one is called the shining, right? There's a reason for calling the fourth ground shining because on the fourth ground one shines a fire-like light, of exalted wisdom that burns one's corresponding to obstructions, from the point of view of possessing doctrines concordant with enlightenment.
다 나와 장가발라레 다 짐지장 서제 맘바시바다 맘바시비체 데제가 다 간제 데제 로드럽 zoba카와 zoba칼레카와다 대상주 선바티 zoba토와 인자 아니 zoba카와스 간제 소소 잘라 펜도 어다파짓 파지페나서 다 말로신도.
Yeah, so it's right in the text, right? You can see it as I read. Then there is a reason for calling the fifth ground difficult to tame, because whereas for intelligent bodhisattvas on the fourth ground and below, it is difficult to bring sentient beings to fruition and hard to have patience with the errors of trainees. And on the fifth ground, these bodhisattvas are able to tame them.
tengonredo pena tanda pena 장보를 미친데나 베다 다 가세 걸리나 tanda 미카시게 르금도 녀라시던 여러 왔어.
So it's really true, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, working so hard, to bring benefit to the others, but yet there are still so many people complaining about him, right?
제가 오늘에도 왔어. 제가 어디 들릴라다 zoba 다 공로마사 zoba 사야 되는 걸 왔어.
And so so like saying, oh, I'm doing all these things, and yet they are still complaining about me. So you get really angry, right? Normal people will really get angry. When you have done so much for others, yet they still complain, or they do bad things to you, you get angry, right? So I did all these things, and they still complain about me like that, so you get angry. But the bodhisattva, like His Holiness, never get angry. And so just like that, the bodhisattva on this ground doesn't get angry, so no matter how much they have to work hard, they always do it with the patience.
다 두발랑 낸데 가로 낸데 제발이야. 낸데 제발와. 내가 간제 땐데 르조도 르도고 거네. 아니 곰발라 딱 개바인자 아니 들으려고 그러니 서로와.
And then there's like the sixth ground, why it's called manifest, because meditating on the rising of the system of the 12 link of dependent origination manifests a reversal from cyclic existence, and meditating on the reversal of the system of the 12 link of dependent origination manifests nirvana. And then the seventh is called the gone afar.
내 안에 가르나 안에 최초단 세메지 람타투바단 로와치벨 람단 저다지바치나까지 최초엔 세메단데 똥바니 곰베 까블야 와다 담보대 제랍션 주도 고대 할로션 주도 고대 했다.
So do you understand that? As we are reading it, do you understand?
덤바트 고대 덤바트 때리는 거 사이죠.
So the seventh one is a little bit more difficult to understand. It's gone afar because independence on meditating on the path for a long time on relates the two. The final path having science and effort, with the one path of progress. You understand that?
Is it where you start to feel inner happiness?
No.
No?
No. 대단대라래. 가져배나 똥바니 곰베 갑라야. 아니 개개다 아니 지금 딱 가준 도도 제다 땡주 테ner라 딱 공에도 무거게 셔. 딱 공에들은 세체. 딱 무거게들 아니 세메라 그래서. 다니자다.
그래서 도당
배나 똥바니 반 다른 가도 똥녀 곰바는 가도 배자 따고도 배자 따치. 배자 따 대담. 제가 들이 배자 딱 공에들은 세체. 배자 딱 먹어줘. 소소 라토고도 곰트는 세메스. 다니 두자 그래서.
And so here it says, because independence on meditating on the path, for a long time, one relates to the two. The final path, having science and efforts, and with the one path of progress. So with the sign and without the sign. So like for example, when we were meditating on emptiness, right? In our case, when we were meditating on emptiness, and we have to think about the instructions that we were given to, right? And then we have to refer, to the text. To read the text, to understand that, oh yeah, so this is what it's talking about. And then you go meditate, So that's with the sign. And then, when you are so familiar with that, you don't have to look at the text at all. And you can, do the meditation on emptiness without having to look at the instructions or the text. So that's called the signless.
제가 아니 되게 배나 간들 사 덤바디가 아니 tel라 따고 사 제와디 따고 말했어. And
so then here is in the seventh ground, you have to look at the text. On the eighth ground, you don't have to look at the text. And then that's the reason why the eighth ground is called immovable.
저는 드네 고도 배신한데 문도 왔어. 되긴 대체 되면 오만 시도 나요. 오면 알아.
And so this is not explained here, right? The sign and signless, is not explained here. So this one is actually explained in the middle way text.
제가 대체 재미서 돼 간제 동반이다 람고발라 람라 때 공에들 대체 람라 때까지 딱 류나 때 먹게들 하는 재미서 들라고도.
And so this one has like the sign and with the sign and without the sign. So those who have to refer to the text, to meditate on emptiness is called with the sign, and those who don't have to refer or look at the text, is to a text, to meditate on emptiness is called without a sign. So is that etymology? Still an etymology?
Yes, Jennifer.
I guess I'm surprised to learn that a seventh ground bodhisattva who's had a direct realization of emptiness would still need to refer to a text in order to meditate on emptiness.
Until you achieve enlightenment, you still need it. Because until you achieve enlightenment, you are not omniscient. You are not omniscient until you achieve enlightenment.
되는데 다 제가 뭐 왔지 다 그와 레벨로 들어와 아니 사가와 레벨로 소소 양다베 리피 로 상보트 비지다 간제 다 셔럽 개념에 첼하버 돕고 들어왔어.
And so there's a reason for calling the ninth ground a good intelligence. It's because one attains the forbearances called intelligence correctly knowing individual phenomena.
대체다 간제 다바사섬 그다 람 다보 차고 그러네.
So the eighth ground, is the first one of the three.
말 그와 단어도 그와다. 제와다 모여 왔더라. 달랍사인 바스.
네.
아다 그와다. 그와 레벨로 돼 사 그에 가서 소소 야타베 리비 로 잠보 트비게 됐다 집에서.
Yeah, so this is the good intelligence is the ninth ground, right? So it's because one attains the forbearance called intelligence correctly knowing individual phenomena.
And then
the next one is the 10th ground is called cloud of doctrine.
다들 가질라는 배는 남과라 춘춘에 아니 절반 봐봐나 단 지탱게 스실로도 받아야 얘는 야부쳐가라 대나지 산제서 봐 사체바베 지지 아니 지다 띵에다 되는 탈라 때문에 다 샘체가 내가 나지가 다주 철바바보다 밥도 그래요 자로시.
And so the reason why it's called the cloud of doctrine is because in the world, in our regular world, when there's a cloud and then the rain falls on the ground, then the plants and the crops will grow without any difficulties. It will grow. So just like that, when one reaches the 10th ground, then one will be able to pour the rain of doctrine to rape or to ripen the sentient beings.
제가 다들 너도 쳐놓고 다시 해도 이제 차와고 말했어. 이제 내마다 전부 매백해서 말다. 그또 다시 해서 이제 차와고 말아.
So this is just an etymology, right? Etymology. So it's not a definition. So therefore, it doesn't have to be definite.
Okay. I have a question, Geshe.
Yes.
Back to the ninth ground. What does that mean? Knowing individual phenomena?
다 소소 야다 리바지나다 가루. 근데 나도 소소 야다 리바지 야다 보와지 들이 까마치 뭐뭐 왔어. 아니 델라자죠. 간제 소소 간제 추 소소 추레레레레야 또비 셔럽 아니 니바쳐바지 토르다 되네로 거나 야살.
So like the phenomena is like individually, they're knowing each and every phenomena, like individual. Phenomena means like so like we know regular. I mean when we say rock, so we know this rock. When we say crops, so we know that kind of like general terms only, right? And so each crops like that, and each grain or each bag of crops like that, and so it's individual like that.
만도 소소야다리 바지데 바로데 소소야다리 베셔
소소야다리 바시
땅아
부리담마 Yeah, thank you. 소소 양다리 보셔 가서.
가지 다때문에 가도 값이 나이네 저기로 봐. 가지 단 되게 되더라고 가지 추수수수수수 가가가가가 또비가니 다 혈압 말아봐 슈침보다 더 그래서 해로 되려고 고고면로 소소 양다를 봐줘 드르지 깜바죠 오봉아 땅아 샹처럼 파나야라 제
들까 가라는 가능하러서?
대가로 값이 와라 저로 아주
네, 말하다. 간다 가서 대소 가서
가지
소소 양다리 보시 아니. 저를 감
샹처 섭되나요 샹처 섭되
So, I mean, there's another term for that. There's like called, the four specific perfect understanding.
Right.
The 4 ways in which Bodhisattva knows the distinct features, characteristics of the state of phenomena.
샹처 섭되나 샹처 섭되
Yeah.
이나 다 대대 그 말이야 네가 소소 양답에 리피에서나 간지 아니 추소소소소소 레레레레 또비다 혈압랍치 못하고 되네로 빠지 코나야 하면로
Oh, really? So I mean, the 4 specific, the perfect understanding. There's one of them is the dharma or the phenomena,
Right.
and understand phenomena, and other one is like the meaning, and then other one is like the term, the word, for each,
Yeah.
and then there's a understanding, there's like of a confidence, like being able to say or do the things in confidently. And so that kind of those kind of specified understandings.
오케이 다 되다 다 되지 다 괜찮아도다 다 사주 세단에가 사주도 고나시게 사 세단 사주도 고나시게 왔어
So now, so again, we talked about this right earlier. So the 10 ground all refers to the path of meditation.
오케이 근데 사 동보를 가세요라나
So how many are there in the first ground?
How many what are in the first ground?
사 동보니에 왔어 사 동보니에 왔어 사 동본 돈을 고나니에 왔어 돈을 사 동보라 고나라 사 동보라 그래 봐
So we talked about earlier that the first ground has 2. There's the first ground path of seeing and the first ground path of meditation. So they both are part of first ground.
오케이 예바 예나야 사주 세단에 고나마지 돈을 시면 돈을 찍어 말다스
But when we talk about the 10 ground, the 10 grounds is referred to only the path of meditation, not talking about path of seeing at all.
제가 가진 돈을 대나 받으셨다 대나 건 돈을 코나 로가치 찍어 말해
So the path of seeing is kind of included in there. When we talk about the superior path, then it's included in there.
다 사주에 세단 가르쳤나 빠작전에 시월했어
And so why do we divide? Why do we divide into 10 ground? Why? Why do we divide into 10 ground? Is from the point of view of abandonment.
다 빠작 가르래 내도 첨보 중 다 제주 첨보 링 첨보 섬자도 왔어 내들 제주 섬
So the abandonment, there are 3 different, the main 3 different levels, right? And that each level, is again divided into 3 different levels. And so therefore, that's like the great, middle. The great has 2. The great, gross, and great, subtle. The great gross, great subtle, and then there's the great middling, the great, small. And then that goes like that. The middling great, middling. And then middling small, like that. So there are like 10, abandonments.
오케이 다들 자다하고도 사주도 자다하고서
So what middle? What are you talking about? Great what? The great grasping, inner grasping at true existence. The great inner grasping at true existence. The great inner grasping at true existence, and a great middling inner grasping at true existence. Like that. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about all these abandonments. So when we say great, it's more gross. The great one is more gross, and therefore it is easier to abandonment. It's not easy, but easier to abandon.
제가 다 대가 놓고 제가 다 조다라 바로 지네 제가 다대야 산이 파치네 양배 아니 가로 녀들 자다 실 자다 중이서야 녀라 뭐 쉐어 다도 상인가도 레레 쉐고는 뭐 따기 찍었어.
And so that's just in general, we're talking about the grasping at true existence. So that was one, right? But then we'll talk about what, there are 108 deluded abandonments, and then there's 112 abandonments that are obstruction to knowledge, right? So if we go into more detail like that, then it's very confusing. So I don't know. I will see whether we'll go through that or not.
제가 너도 삼성 나도 진들이 셔다나야 고 삼성 다들 가지 시고서 차로는 제가 너도 로브존에 로다 시고요레스
빵고라고.
제가 당가서 봐야 돼 잠깐들이 요걸 쓰라고.
So sometimes we might be wondering, why we're talking about that. Well, this is just for your knowledge. And of course, you have to abandon. And in order to abandon, you have to know what to abandon, right? If you don't know what to abandon, how are you going to abandon it? So therefore, it's important to know that.
제가 가도 동반이 야보 고반은 더서 간가 빠장 무슨 거들 다 나가서 무슨 거 말도.
So if we meditate on emptiness, then we will identify these as abandonment. Otherwise, normally, we will not even identify these as abandonment.
제가 배는 간도 배나 지금 짱마로서나 아니 짱마 배나 라파도서서는 신의 짱마한테 차고도 통하고도 와서 괜히 주주도.
It's like, when you're cleaning your place, right? You see the gross dirts first, So you see the gross dirts. When you have cleared the gross dirts, and then you see the subtle dirts.
다 됐다니도 그래 다 지금 고비소에.
So like that. Now, are you confused?
이나 기나도 지라다나 사람 쳐야 되단다. 티나 바지 티나 누웠더니 딱 돼요.
And so you already have this text, from the great path and ground. So that's a little bit easier to understand. I mean, easier to make you understand, better.
Okay. Now I have to go.
Oh,
I have to second pray. It's okay, you guys? Yeah, you have funny practice, okay? Funny pray. What's that?
Many.
Many pray, many studies.
yeah.
It's okay.
Lots of studies to do.
Don't discourage. Don't give up. Okay. It takes time. Maybe you don't understand what's going on, but even puts the influence that is good. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going. You guys finish pray. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Geshe.
I have to also lock in the other Vichai also the Zoom people waiting that.
Thank you, Geshe.
Okay.
Thank you, Damchala.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.